Well, hi everyone. This is Louise. I'm getting ready to ship off a whole bunch of journals for consignment sale. So I thought I'd make a video before I send them off, just so I can keep some kind of a memory of them anyways. This is Flora. Flora was made in memory of a senior at a residence I used to volunteer at. Her full name was Flora Rose. Her first name was Flora, her last name was Rose, so this book was perfect for her. The base of the kit is Artymaze gave away a thank you freebie on her website, and so that's the one I used. The book itself has a nice little story with it. Patty Lang from Sacred Mementos always talks about boiled books and what they look like. So one day I joked and I said I was going to actually boil a book to see what it looked like. So I did, and this is the book. It was a vibrant red hymnal, which turned out beautiful once it was boiled. So she's right. Boiled books are quite amazing. Anyways, so that's the base of the book. I did have to redo the spine because I can never make small little tiny books. They always end up with big alligator mouths, so I had to redo the spine on it. So the cover is made or decorated with an image from Artymaze's Fairest Flowers book, and just some Tim Holtz paper and some lace and gauze, along with the book plate that says Flora on it. Hitch post with the seam binding closure on it. And this is lace from, or not lace, but ribbon from Stampin' Up! From years and years ago. I kept the front two pages or end pages and the back two end pages. The front one had a nice inscription. It says that it came from Summerside, PEI, which is a province where my daughter lives. So I kind of kept that one for that reason. Found the definition of Flora, who was a goddess of flowers. How appropriate that Flora Rose loved roses. But anyways, so I just decorated with some vellum and just some different embellishments on it. This is the kit from Artymaze, and there's a whole bunch of ephemera that goes with it. Most of them are foldable like this. The pocket, the envelope, I just folded the flap so that it kind of made an envelope that you can slip stuff in easily. And it's also, I embossed it. I started doing this little thing, and I think it's going to become part of all my journals. The actual book itself that it came from was a worship service for junior highs. So I just made up a fake library card for it, or a catalog card for it, and wrote down that it was withdrawn. I have the stamp for that. It's an old vintage stamp. It also has my recipient letter that I explain what a junk journal is, so that if somebody's never seen one before, they can understand what they're getting. And I put little dangles on the lace trims, or the doily trims that I put on here. I've also used book pages from a book called Simple Pleasure Roses. It's just a book that shows all different illustrations of different roses. I put little tiny tags in there that are pieces of paper that you can write yourself little notes in. All the people images are from TaylorMade journals. I want to make sure I mention her because her kits are just amazing. This is a really vintage piece of lace. It is so soft, it's incredible. This is the back that explains what year the book is or whatever, but I just covered it with a piece of tissue paper and then did some stamping on it, so you can still write on top of it, but at least you'd have the details of the book that it was taken from. This is part of my avocado dyed paper. I'm going to try to bring this up a little bit, and hopefully you can catch This is doilies that I use to dye with. They're plastic doilies. This is part of Artymaze's kit. Again, along one of those big ledger books. It was blank. Again, a little tiny piece of paper in here from the dyed paper. And there's also a pocket up here, or tuck spot, I guess I should call it. And I also took some of my dyed paper and punched it with one of my punches that gives you that effect. So that goes into the little bag that's on the side here. A little message tag that I dyed. Thankful and grateful. So those are those typecast. I guess you get those at Michael's. This is part of Artymaze's kit. It's a little tiny note card. Again, some vintage lace. And there is kind of a little pocket. I kept one of them out here so I can show you. Little tuck spots there. And again, this is part of my lace paper that I make. And I have different textures that I use. I have a stash now of different textures that I use to make the effects on all my papers. Little note. I do believe this is from TaylorMade. Or it could be Artymaze. There's two kits that I have that has little ephemera pieces in it. A couple of tags that you can decorate if you wish. Did a little bit of sewing, but again, my sewing skills are quite limited. So, and this is what I sort of imagined Flora looking like when she was young. So I actually put her name on the back of this one. It's just one of TaylorMade's journals. Beautiful images that she has of ladies. And anyways, so I just made a frame for it and turned it into a cabinet card. So that slips in there. This is, again, Artymaze's kit, but printed on vellum. And I have these huge staples. So they're quite easy to fasten. You just make your holes and then slip it in and then use pliers to pinch it in with. I don't have a stapler that big. And some bling, and there's like a little notepad underneath here. And again, more of my avocado dyed paper. Just some little flip here, vellum envelope or pouch here, and this is just a newer ledger that you can fill out. The adventure list, again, the typecast, and I've done some inking on here to try to age them a little bit. Okay, talked about that one, I think. Or did I have two of those? Yeah, I do have two of them. Okay, so the back of the bag has the exact same thing as well. This is stamped as well as colored. This is made with, I have 2,000 slides to use up. Some are empty, some aren't. This one here, I just inserted a piece of fabric in it and used one of TaylorMade Journal's little images and decorated. And it says, live your dreams with passion. This is from another book on caring for roses. So there's, although this is a full image, on the inside, even though there's smaller images, there's still spaces for you to write on. Again, from Artymaze's kit, from that rose book. And you know those dot matrix printer paper? I took one of them and just made a ruffle with it on the side here. And there's a lot of information about roses, so if you're into roses, you'd enjoy this book for sure. Just made a little thing that says important, and another one of my lace on the back of Artymaze kit. And again, another vintage receipt. I'm not sure what year this one is. 1892 maybe, 90 or 92. But it's just a photocopy of it, or a digital kit of it. And again, another little a tag from Artymaze with a crystal button on top there. It's not real crystal, it's plastic. A little tuck spot on the side here with the vellum pocket. And then I made these little tiny tags here again. Laura's TaylorMade Journals images, a little piece of This was a pharmacist ledger from 1950s or something. Another little coupon, and they all go in this little tiny envelope. What I like about the kits is that you can make the envelopes as small or as large as you want, depending on how you put your settings. So anyways, a little bit of decorating on that. And again, another piece of doily there. And some sewing that you can laugh about when you get this. My machines just don't like me. I have 2 of them and I can't get them to work. Just a little schedule that you can fill out. And this pocket is kind of like a hidden pocket. It's just one piece of paper, but there's a hidden pocket in there. And again, some lace. This one's not vintage lace. Well, it might be. Might be vintage. I'm not sure. A little envelope that you can decorate as you wish. And inside, I did a fancy fold on this one. Sorry, I'm going to open this one first. And it's from an old journal that I have from the 1940s. Or a ledger, not a journal. In French, they're called journals, so I kind of get that word mixed up all the time. I did some edging, some stamp edging on this. More edge paper stamping there. I'll put that back after. This is another page from that book about roses. So it explains to you which ones are more fragrant. Just a little decoration on the side. Some of that dot matrix paper. A little pocket here that I made with a window in it, and I put one of the images from the Redouté's book again. Just a stamped image on there. And I made this little notepad with the little dangle on the side here. Roses need at least 6 hours of sunshine a day, and don't we all? And here's some more images from that rose book. Again, this is just a piece of paper I had, so I just made a little cut spot with that. And this is the softest little piece of fabric. Anyway, so it's just a double flip. Another little side tuck with some lace and little baubles here. And again, another piece of fabric, and then this thing unfolds. I just looked up to make sure I was really in frame because I have a habit of going off. And then I've got some bling in the corner here. And this was from a book as well. It has a little saying on the side here. This is from that same book, an image from that same book. And this is, I don't know how this happened, but this is pretty cool, the way that the avocado died. Just sat there, I guess. And I've got a piece of homemade old-fashioned tape with the alcohol inks. Another little typecast of words to live by that you can fill out. And this is a double pocket here. I'll just put those back after. This is one of the checks that I have. And this is how I decorated, just with a piece of napkin and some lace on the side, so you can journal on the back. And this is an older envelope that I again made a little space. I didn't put any acetate on this one though. And inside is a decorated piece of paper that you can journal on. Again, part of Artymaze's kit. A little heart, copper heart with some little leaves attached with a bulb pin. And this is a paper flip on top, and then a fabric flip on the bottom. And it says, "What is fairer than a rose? What is sweeter?" by George Herbert. And I did leave all the threads on, so you can cut them if you don't like those. Or you can cut them shorter. I just left them as long as they were when I took them out of my machine. Little tiny paper bag here with a paper doily and one of those. I'm pretty sure this opens this way. And I gave you another check along with the stub. I decorated a little bit, but you can go ahead and decorate further if you wish. Little tag that I made. And again, you know, that's not coming through. I don't know if you can see the details in the paper. It's hard through the camera, but again, from that Rose book. This is just a tag that I stitched around. And another one of either Artymaze or tailor-made journal. I'm thinking these might be the tailor-made. I'm not sure. Anyways, I made a little tuck spot with a piece of journal as ledgers and a flip on that page as well. This was in that Rose book. Another piece of homemade old-fashioned tape. No, actually, this is an original. Yes, sorry. That's the original. That's an old piece of tape that fell out of a book that I had. This is a little notebook, but it has a magnet in it, so you can just drape it whichever way you want, and it doesn't fall out. One of those ticket paperclip things with a piece of ribbon and a little tiny frame, and it attaches that one. And that's the other side of the paper bag with another image from that Rose book. And on the back, again, you've got a lot of space that you can write on. Another dot matrix paper, and the texture is quite different than the paper I normally use. And again, avocado dyed on the back of Artymaze kit. Just a ledger page. Some Tim Holtz tissue paper. I guess he calls it collage paper. And this one here is just attached, so you just flip it out. And inside, there's a little mortgage document, a little small version of it, and an old image of an old seed packet, I think it was. We'll come back to that. And they're glued to part of Artymaze's kit as well. Oh no, that's not Artymaze's, that's just, I'm not sure where that one came from. Some music, sheet music, and a piece of old lace, or doily lace, whatever it is. Embroidery? No. And I made this little recipe book because that was in the How to Care for Roses book. It had several little recipes, so I've included them with it. There are little slots here. And this big warning, do not use chemicals if you're going to eat them. Just wanted to be safe. And this is one of my attachers that I also have that I've started doing in my journals, and I attach just leftovers of the papers. Stamping here. And again, tailor-made journal. I turned that into a little postcard. And that's from Artymaze's. And I made a little tuck spot with lace. Tim Holtz. And this piano roll, and the song said, do you behold me, list here. So I stamped out how with a bunch of spaces where you can say how you behold yourself. And then you can write on the back as well and hide it all up. And it's gone. Pom-pom trim. Just for fun. And that's the end of the book. Anyways, it does have a nice little curve to it. It feels wonderful in your hands. But, like I said, it does have a curve. Just from being boiled. I don't think well, I guess you can see it there a little bit. Anyways, she was fun to make. Brought back a lot of memories thinking about Flora as I was doing it. And I hope she finds a new home, and you get to enjoy it as much as I had in making it. Thank you very much for watching. You have a great day.